So the previous class we have completed the cell wall, right? So any clarifications on the cell wall or any doubts on the cell wall? Cell wall and its functions, right? So in this today's class, we'll take up the variations of the cell wall in the prokaryotes and the eukaryotes. See, cell wall is present in the plants, it is absent in the animals, it is present in the fungi, as well as it is present in the prokaryotes also. We have seen bacteria and all, right? So in the bacteria also there is cell wall. So we'll see the variations of the cell wall in the eukaryotes and in the prokaryotes. So in the eukaryotes we have studied in the plant. Plant is an eukaryote, right? So eukaryotic cell wall we have studied it in the plants in detail. And now specifically we are mostly stressing on the primary and the secondary cell wall here. So primary, secondary, how was it in the eukaryotic plant cell wall? Primary cell wall was thin and flexible. It was made up of more hemicellulose and less cellulose, as well as there were, there was some amount of pectin present and some soluble proteins were present in the primary cell wall, right? And whichever cells were growing cells, wherein the cell was supposed to be expanded, like we have the meristematic cells, right? In such cells, we used to see the primary cell wall. Coming to the secondary cell wall is present inner to the primary cell wall, right? It was present inner to the primary cell wall, and the secondary cell wall is made up of 3 layers, S1, S2, S3. Yes, S1, S2, S3. And now the secondary cell wall becomes more rigid. It becomes more rigid due to the addition of the lignin in it, right? Some amount of lignin used to get deposited in the cell wall, and now there is more cellulose and less hemicellulose. Primary cell wall, there is less cellulose, more hemicellulose. Secondary cell wall, there is more cellulose, less hemicellulose. Along with it, there is also some amount of the deposition of the lignin present. And because of that, the cell wall becomes more tough, more rigid, right? More tough and more rigid. So this is how we had seen the primary and the secondary cell wall in the plant cells, right? So today we'll see the variation of this cell wall in the prokaryotes. So prokaryotic cell wall. Prokaryotic cell wall. So here, like we have primary and secondary cell wall in case of the bacteria, we don't have these multi-layered cell wall in the prokaryotes or in the bacteria. This multi-layered cell wall is present only in the plant cells, like we have primary, secondary, tertiary cell walls. This multi-layer is present only in the plant cells. And when it comes to the prokaryotes or the bacterial cell wall, directly prokaryote, it is as good as we are studying the bacterial cell wall only here. Okay. In the bacteria, we don't have any such multi-layered cell wall. There is only one single layered cell wall present. And what is the reason of the presence of the cell wall in the bacteria? We had seen one particular reason for the presence of cell wall in the plant cell also. What was the reason? Why plants have the cell wall? Why animals do not have cell wall? What was the reason? Because plants cannot move and they usually continuously undergo environmental stress. As I had given an example, whenever there is high temperature, we go to some place where there is shade. When it is raining heavily, we go to some place which is like safe for us. But when it comes to plants, if there is high temperature, can it move to some safest place? No, they get exposed to that high temperature. When it is raining heavily with the hailstones, anekallo, right? So when it is dropping down, definitely the pressure will damage the plant cells. Can plant move to some other cells to escape itself from the hailstones? No, right? The plant stays in the same place and gets damaged. So there is continuous wear and tear in the plants, and to protect the plants from the continuous wear and tear and from the environmental stress, the plants have an extra protective layer as compared to animals, and that extra protective layer is now the cell wall. Likewise, in the bacteria also undergo environmental stress usually, Because bacteria has movement, but not all the bacteria have movement. Though it has movement, the movement which it has is very slow. We call it as motility, not movement, right? The movement of the bacteria is mostly called as motility. It's not movement like animals move, right? Probably to go from this end to this end, okay, from this end to this end, humans or any animal would take hardly some 5 seconds. 5 seconds. Maximum, if it is very slow, tortoise, it takes 10 seconds, 15 seconds. How about bacteria? Bacteria, if it is taking 1 minute also, probably it has not crossed 1 square. Right? It is very slow, it's motile, it's not movement. Fine. So, it also undergoes environmental stress continuously, hence it has one extra protective layer. And now coming to the composition and details of that protective layer, that is the bacterial cell wall. It is made up of peptidoglycan. It is made up of peptidoglycan. Many a times, many books refer to this peptidoglycan as murin. It refers to the peptidoglycan as murin. ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು books ಅಲ್ಲಿ murin ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು word ಅನ್ನ refer ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ. It is as good as the peptidoglycan only. Okay. Now, what is this peptidoglycan? Peptidoglycan is made up of two components. The peptidoglycan is made up of two components. One is NAM, NAM. Another one is NAG, NAG. NAM and NAG. What are these NAM and NAG? What are these NAM and NAG? What is NAM and what is NAG? This is the most basic thing you should be knowing. N-acetyl muramic acid. N-acetyl muramic acid. N-acetyl glucosamine. N-acetyl muramic acid and N-acetyl glucosamine. So how exactly we see this formation of the peptidoglycan layer is, this NAM and NAG will form the cross-link bridges. Andre, otherwise we'll take it this way. So if it is NAM, NAG forms the cross-links like this. NAG forms the cross-links and they are being held by some types of binding proteins like this. So it forms a network and this network wholly will form a layer of the peptidoglycan around the bacteria. Now, we usually differentiate the bacteria into two forms, right? That is gram-positive bacteria and gram-negative bacteria. And what basis do we differentiate the gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria? What is the basis of the differentiation? ನಾವು ಯಾವ ಆಧಾರದ ಮೇಲೆ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಟೀರಿಯಾನ ಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಮತ್ತು ಗ್ರಾಮ್ ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ ಅಂತ ಡಿಫ್ರೆನ್ಶಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ? It is on the basis of the cell wall. Henge, how does the cell wall differentiate the gram positive and gram negative? Heng differentiate agate? Listen, let us imagine there are two bacteria now. This is gram positive. Gram positive. Gram negative. Okay, gram positive and gram negative. Now, the bacteria which is gram positive usually has a thick layer of peptidoglycan layer like this. A very thick layer of peptidoglycan will be present around the around the gram-positive bacteria. Now, this white which I have written here, this is the plasma membrane. Okay, this is the plasma membrane, and this is the peptidoglycan layer or peptidoglycan cell wall. When it comes to the gram-negative bacteria, they have a very thin layer of the peptidoglycan. A very thin layer of peptidoglycan is present surrounding the plasma membrane. So now here, this is plasma membrane and this is peptidoglycan cell wall. Okay. Now, surrounding this peptidoglycan layer in the gram-negative bacteria, there is one extra layer which is attached to this peptidoglycan, and that layer is nothing but the polysaccharide layer. And with this polysaccharide layer, it is absent in the gram-positive bacteria. It is there only in the gram-negative bacteria because the peptidoglycan layer is very thin. Okay, because the peptidoglycan layer is very thin in case of gram-negative, as a function of extra protection, this lipopolysaccharide layer is present here. Okay, in the gram-negative bacteria, we have a thin peptidoglycan layer which is surrounded with the extra lipopolysaccharides layer, whereas in case of the gram-positive bacteria, we have a very thick layer of a peptidoglycan and there is no polysaccharide layer. So now when we stain it using the gram staining process. So you all have performed the gram staining, right? You all have performed the gram staining. What happens in the gram staining? So you first add the crystal violet stain as a primary stain. Yes, as a primary stain, you add the crystal violet. So this crystal violet usually gets deposited in the peptidoglycan layers only. And now because there is a very thick peptidoglycan layer here, more amount of crystal violet gets deposited here, and here there is a very thin peptidoglycan layer. So very less amount of peptidoglycan deposits here. ನಾವು ಕ್ರಿಸ್ಟಲ್ ವೈಲೆಟ್ ನ ಆಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಥಿಕ್ ಪೆಪ್ಟಿಡೋಗ್ಲೈಕಾನ್ ಲೇಯರ್ ಇದೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಕ್ರಿಸ್ಟಲ್ ವೈಲೆಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಡೆಪಾಸಿಟ್ ಆಗತ್ತೆ. ಕ್ರಿಸ್ಟಲ್ ವೈಲೆಟ್ ಪೆಪ್ಟಿಡೋಗ್ಲೈಕಾನ್ ಲೇಯರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತ್ರ ಡೆಪಾಸಿಟ್ ಆಗತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಪಾಲಿಸೆಕ್ರೈಡ್ ಲೇಯರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಡೆಪಾಸಿಟ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಥಿಕ್ ಪೆಪ್ಟಿಡೋಗ್ಲೈಕಾನ್ ಲೇಯರ್ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಮೋರ್ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಕ್ರಿಸ್ಟಲ್ ವೈಲೆಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದು ಡೆಪಾಸಿಟ್ ಆಗತ್ತೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ thin layer of peptidoglycan ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ very small amount of the crystal violet ಬಂದು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಡೆಪಾಸಿಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. So after the addition of the primary stage, that is crystal violet, now we add the moderant iodine ಹಾಕ್ತಿವಿ. ಹೌದಾ? iodine we call it as a moderant. What is the function of the iodine? Moderant ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? Why do we call the iodine as a moderant? Moderant is any material which fixes the stain. ನಾವು iodine ಹಾಕಿದಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಎರಡು ಕಡೆ ಏನು ಪೆಪ್ಟಿಡೋಗ್ಲೈಕನ್ ಲೇಯರ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ರಿಸ್ಟಲ್ ವೈಲೆಟ್ ಸ್ಟೇನ್ ಅಟ್ಯಾಚ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಒಳಗಡೆಗೆ. ಸೊ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ನೀಟಾಗಿ ಗ್ಲೂ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ ಅಪ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಸಾರಿ, ಎನಿ ಕೆಮಿಕಲ್ ವಿಚ್ ಆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ as a gluing substance is called as a moderant. ಸೊ ಅಯೋಡಿನ್ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಆ ಕ್ರಿಸ್ಟಲ್ ವೈಲೆಟ್ ನ ನೀಟಾಗಿ ಈ ತರ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಪಾಕೆಟ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ತವೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಪಾಕೆಟ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ತವೆ. ಈ ಪ್ರೋಟೀನ್ಸ್ ಏನ್ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಲ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾವಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪಾಕೆಟ್ಸ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ಪಾಕೆಟ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ರಿಸ್ಟಲ್ ವೈಲೆಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ನೀಟಾಗಿ ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಈ ತರ ಎಲ್ಲ ಪಾಕೆಟ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ರಿಸ್ಟಲ್ ವೈಲೆಟ್ ಈ ತರ ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಗಟ್ಟಿಯಾಗಿ ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ಫಿಕ್ಸಿಂಗ್ ಕೆಲಸ ಯಾರು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ? ಅಯೋಡಿನ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಾಗ ಏನಿದೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಹಳ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಪೆಪ್ಟಿಡೋಗ್ಲೈಕನ್ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ವೆರಿ ಲೆಸ್ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಸ್ಟೇನ್ ಗೆಟ್ಸ್ ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ಡ್. Okay, there are no much pockets to get the stain fixed. So very loosely fixing irutte crystal violet. Next, after the moderant, that is after the iodine, we add the ethyl alcohol. ಹೌದಾ? What is ethyl alcohol? ethyl alcohol ನ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ ಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಸ್ಟೇನಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ? ಡಿಕಲರೈಸಿಂಗ್ ಏಜೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಈಥೈಲ್ ಆಲ್ಕೋಹಾಲ್ ಅದು ಹಾಕಿದಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅದು ಸ್ಟೇನ್ ಅನ್ನ ರಿಮೂವ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಎರಡೂ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಸ್ಟೇನ್ ಅನ್ನ ರಿಮೂವ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ನೋಡುತ್ತೆ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲೇನಾಗಿದೆ, ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಗ್ಲೂ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ ಸ್ಟೇನ್. ಹೌದಾ? ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಫುಲ್ ಪಾಕೆಟ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಗ್ಲೂ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ. ಇಲ್ಲೇನಾಗಿದೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಗ್ಲೂ ಆಗಕ್ಕೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಪಾಕೆಟ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ವೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಲೂಸ್ ಅರೇಂಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಕ್ರಿಸ್ಟಲ್ ವೈಲೆಟ್ ಸ್ಟೇನ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಆಲ್ಕೋಹಾಲ್ ನ ಹಾಕಿದಾಗ, ಇಥೈಲ್ ಆಲ್ಕೋಹಾಲ್ ನ ಹಾಕಿದಾಗ ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಸ್ಟೇನ್ ರಿಮೂವ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ರಿಮೂವ್ ಆದ್ರೂ ಕೂಡ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಮಟ್ಟಕ್ಕೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ರಿಮೂವ್ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು. ಮಿಕ್ಕದ್ದೆಲ್ಲ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮಮ್ ಸ್ಟೇನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಗ್ಲೂ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿರತ್ತೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇರೋದೇ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ, ಅದನ್ನು ಲೂಸ್ಲಿ ಅರೇಂಜ್ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಆ ಡಿಕಲರೈಸಿಂಗ್ ಏಜೆಂಟ್ ಇಂದ ಹೊರಗಡೆಗೆ ಹಾಕಿದಾಗ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಕ್ರಿಸ್ಟಲ್ ವೈಲೆಟ್ ಸ್ಟೇನ್ ಹೊರಗಡೆಗೆ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ದಿಸ್ ಇಥೈಲ್ ಆಲ್ಕೋಹಾಲ್ ವಿ ಆಡ್ ದ ಸ್ಯಾಫ್ರನಿನ್. ಹೌದಾ? ಸ್ಯಾಫ್ರನಿನ್ ಹಾಕ್ತಿವಿ. ಸ್ಯಾಫ್ರನಿನ್ ಹಾಕಿದಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಆ ಸ್ಯಾಫ್ರನಿನ್ ಹೋಗಿ ಬೈಂಡ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು. ಸೆಲ್ ವಾಲ್ ಗೆ ಬೈಂಡ್ ಆಗಕ್ಕೆ ಪಾಸಿಬಿಲಿಟೀಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಸ್ಯಾಫ್ರನಿನ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ದ ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟಿ ಟು ಬೈಂಡ್ ದ ಸೆಲ್ ವಾಲ್. ಬಟ್ ಈ ಕೇಸಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಸ್ಯಾಫ್ರನಿನ್ ಎಲ್ ಬಂದ್ ಬೈಂಡ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು? ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಕಡೆ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಕ್ರಿಸ್ಟಲ್ ವೈಲೆಟ್ ಬೈಂಡ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ. ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ನೋ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ದ ಸ್ಯಾಫ್ರನಿನ್. Right? There is no more space for the safranin. If there was a space, definitely safranin will take up this space. Cell wall will take up the safranin easily. Adre illi jaga illa. It is completely glued with the crystal violet stain. Ivaga safranin illigu hakidivi, but safranin illi tagondilla. Safranin is not taken by this gram positive. Whereas here the pockets are empty because all the crystal violet was removed by the ethyl alcohol. Right? Ethyl alcohol had removed all the crystal violet. So the space is empty now. Since it is empty, when we add the safranin stain, that safranin stain will go and glue to the places. Now, after the safranin, we have to observe it under the microscope. When we observe it under the microscope, which stain is present here? Which stain has been taken by this cell? Crystal violet. What is the color of the crystal violet? It is purple or blue, right? That is why the gram positive will appear blue in color. And illi yav stain ide? This cell has taken which stain? Safranin. And what is the color of the safranin? It is pink or red, right? And hence, when you observe it under the microscope, the gram negative bacteria appears pink. Got it? So on the basis of the compositional variation in the cell walls of the bacteria, the gram positive and gram negative will appear blue or pink. If it is blue, it's called as gram positive. If it's pink, it's called as gram negative. Clear with this? Clear? Okay. There's one more form of the bacteria, which is called as archaebacteria. Okay, so we call it as a primitive bacteria. So I'll just write it here as a note. Archaebacteria. So this archaebacteria, the cell wall of the archaebacteria is made up of one separate component. You can write it later. Look at the board. One separate component which is more complex, even complex than the peptidoglycan. Peptidoglycan itself is a very complex substance because it is made up of different polysaccharides, NAM and NAG, right? NAM and NAG. Now when it is compared to the peptidoglycan, even more complex than the peptidoglycan, there is one more component called as the pseudomurin. Pseudomurin. So here, the cell wall of the archaebacteria is made up of pseudomurin, which is more complex than the peptidoglycan. Why pseudomurin or why more complex material is present in the archaebacteria is, see, archaebacteria is meant to survive in the extreme conditions. Extreme conditions means high temperature, high pH, okay, high salinity or extremely low temperature. So all these extremities we call them as extreme environmental conditions. So most of the times archaebacteria are found in such extreme conditions and hence we call them as extremophiles. ಆರ್ಕಿಯಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಟೀರಿಯಾನ ನಾವು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಿಮೋಫೈಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ದೇ ಸರ್ವೈವ್ ಇನ್ ಆಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಮ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ಸ್. ನಮ್ಗೆ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆರ್ಕಿಯಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಟೀರಿಯಾ ಯೂಶುವಲಿ ನಮಗೆ ಸಿಗಲ್ಲ. ಆರ್ಕಿಯಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಟೀರಿಯಾ ನೀವು ಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಮಾಡೋಕೆ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಗೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಕಷ್ಟ ಸಿಗಲ್ಲ. ಈ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಮ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೈ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಆರ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಮ್ಲಿ ಲೋ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್, ಹೈ ಪಿ ಹೆಚ್, ಲೋ ಪಿ ಹೆಚ್, ಹೈ ಸ್ಯಾಲಿನಿಟಿ, ಲೋ ಸ್ಯಾಲಿನಿಟಿ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ಸ್, ಈ ತರ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಮ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಮಗೆ ಈ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ಸ್ ಕಾಣುತ್ತೆ ಈ ಆರ್ಕಿಯಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಟೀರಿಯಾ. ಹಂಗಾಗಿ and also we call them as one of the primitive forms of the bacteria. Archaebacteria, they are called as primitive forms of the bacteria, and hence to survive at those extreme conditions, extreme conditions ge survive agbeku antandre, if they have to survive to the extreme conditions, then definitely they should be having some very high protective covering, right? If there is a high protective covering, only then they can survive in those extreme conditions, and this pseudomurin layer will give them a highly protective cell wall covering. Clear? So these are the variations of the cell wall in the prokaryotes as compared to the eukaryotes. Okay, let's note it down. Okay, the next thing which you have to study in the cell wall is glycocalyx layer. See, usually we call it as a cell envelope in case of the bacteria. Okay, in case of the prokaryotes, we call it as a cell envelope. Cell envelope means it is a combination of 3 layers. The 3 layers are plasma membrane, cell wall, and a glycocalyx layer. Okay, plasma membrane, cell wall, and a glycocalyx layer. So now here, this is the plasma membrane. Okay, this is the plasma membrane. Surrounding the plasma membrane, we have the cell wall present. Cell wall. Now, surrounding this cell wall, okay, surrounding this cell wall, there is glycocalyx layer present. Glycocalyx, what is this glycocalyx? It is majorly polysaccharides, okay. Glycocalyx, we are speaking about this. Glycocalyx, it is majorly made up of polysaccharides, some glycoproteins, and glycolipids. So if you just observe this composition, what is this polysaccharides? Polysaccharides are sugars only. Glycoproteins is proteins combined with the sugars. Glyco is again sugar. Proteins combined with the sugars. Glycolipids is lipids combined, covalently bound to the sugars only. So the major composition is a sugar only, right? So we can directly say that the glycocalyx, it is a sugar layer, right? It is a sugar coated layer which is present around the cell wall, external to the cell wall, which is present external to the cell wall. And what is the need of this extra glycocalyx? We already have the cell wall for the protection, right? We already have the cell wall for the protection. So then what is the need of this extra glycocalyx layer? This glycocalyx is present either to increase the pathogenicity, to increase the virulence of the bacteria, or to make the bacteria adhere to a particular substratum. Substratum andre enu? Let us imagine I have my hand here. Okay, there is one bacteria coming like this, and this bacteria is going to attach to my hand now. Okay, if it has to attach to my hand becomes an attachment surface, right? My hand becomes an attachment surface. In this case, this my hand is called as a substratum. Okay, so if such many bacteria start attaching one by one, it forms a layer of the bacteria here, right? So this layer of the bacteria, we call it as a biofilm. We call it as a biofilm. So the glycocalyx, it has two functions. Why it is present is, one is to form the biofilms. One is to form the biofilms, that is, it attaches to the substratum. It helps in the attachment of the bacteria. Sugar is sticky, right? Sugar is sticky. Yes. Normally, kitchens also, if you just take a sugar solution, it will be sticky only, right? So that sticky nature of the sugary glycocalyx layer will help the bacteria to attach, to stick to the surface continuously and form a layer which is called as the biofilm. So the first advantage of having the glycocalyx layer is to form the biofilms. And second advantage of having the glycocalyx layer is, it increases the pathogenicity, or it increases the virulence. This is really important now. Increases pathogenicity or virulence. See, when there is a glycocalyx layer, usually how it helps is, it tries to evade the host mechanism, host defense mechanism. It means that, let us imagine this is a bacteria and this is a host cell. Idu one host cell, idu bacteria. This bacteria is trying to infect the host. When the bacteria tries to infect the host, will the host keep quiet or the host fights back? The host will fight back, right? When the host tries to fight back, it usually have some receptors using which it recognizes the bacteria. ಈ ಹೋಸ್ಟ್ ಸೆಲ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ರಿಸೆಪ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ರಿಸೆಪ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ಈ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಟೀರಿಯಾನ ಐಡೆಂಟಿಫೈ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಐಡೆಂಟಿಫೈ ಮಾಡಿ, ಇಟ್ ಐಡೆಂಟಿಫೈಸ್ ದ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಟೀರಿಯಾ ಅಂಡ್ ರಿಲೀಸಸ್ certain cells which are capable of killing this bacteria. Right? This is how it usually fights back. Now, if the glycocalyx layer is present, this bacteria can easily escape all these immune cells and easily infect the host cell. So, if there was no glycocalyx layer, then this host will kill the bacteria easily. If there is a glycocalyx layer present, then the host cannot kill the bacteria, because the glycocalyx will produce, or it has certain proteins and lipids wherein our host mechanism will fail to recognize. First thing is, it fails to recognize this bacteria as an infective agent. This is the first thing. Even it recognizes also, it will fail to kill this bacteria by its counter attack. So here it evades, okay, it evades the, easily, very easily it evades the host defense mechanism and increase the pathogenicity and the virulence. Pathogenicity or virulence means its capacity to cause the disease. So definitely its capacity to cause the disease got increased now, right? The capacity of the bacteria to cause a disease got increased. So it is as good as increase in the virulence or increase in the pathogenicity. Okay, so these are the two advantages of having the glycocalyx. But now, when does it act as a material which helps in having the biofilm, and when does it acts as a material which helps to increase the pathogenicity or the virulence? This depends on the texture of the glycocalyx layer. Glycocalyx have two textures. Okay, the glycocalyx have two textures. The first texture is, what I'll do is, I'll write half as one texture, half as one texture, okay, in the same bacteria. One type of glycocalyx layer, okay, one type of glycocalyx is usually called as slimy layer. It's called as slimy layer. How this slimy layer actually works is, this is a loosely arranged layer. This is loosely arranged layer. So since it is loosely arranged, it can be easily removed off also. So the host mechanism will easily remove off this particular layer. Even if this particular bacteria tries to infect the host will fight back this slime layer very easily because it is loosely arranged. So all the polysaccharides or the glycoproteins and glycolipids are not toughly bound here. They are loosely bound and easily this layer has been removed off and it kills the host, will kill the bacteria. So the major advantage of the major function of this slimy layer is to form this biofilms. Okay, it helps in forming the biofilms. On the other side, we have a thick layer or a tough layer, which is very tightly woven or tightly bound layer, and that layer is called as capsule. Okay, so this capsule is tightly bound layer. It is tightly bound layer, and this particular capsule, if the capsule is present, remember this, if the capsule is present, then the bacteria will be more infective, it will be more pathogenic, it will be more virulent. It means that its capacity to cause the disease is very high. In the presence of the capsule, it can easily escape from the host mechanism, and hence its capacity to cause the disease is very, very high. So this capsule increases the pathogenicity or virulence. Okay, so the two variations of the glycocalyx or two forms of the glycocalyx, one is a capsule, another one is a slimy layer. Clear? Huh? Now, apart from these two, there is also one more variation in the glycocalyx, and that variation we call it as, I'll write it here, we call it as a endothelial glycocalyx. Have you come across this? Endothelial glycocalyx. This is really important. Okay. Now we have blood vessels, veins and vessels, right? Nam veins mattu vessels alli the innermost layer. So we have different layers like this. Cellular layers ide. Innermost layer enidiyalla. This innermost layer, we call it as a endothelium. ಹೌದಾ, epithelium ಮತ್ತು endothelium. Innermost layer in endothelium ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಎರಡೂ ಕಡೆ, this endothelium has the glycocalyx deposition. This has the glycocalyx deposition, and that glycocalyx we call it as the endothelial glycocalyx. Okay, so glycocalyx na ನಾವು outside the bacteria ಬಂದು ನೋಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಅದರ್ವೈಸ್ ನಾವೆಲ್ಲಿ ಮತ್ತೆಲ್ಲಿ ಗ್ಲೈಕೋಕ್ಯಾಲಿಕ್ಸ್ ನ ನೋಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಇನ್ಸೈಡ್ ದ ಬ್ಲಡ್ ವೆಸಲ್ಸ್ ವೇನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ನೋಡ್ತೀವಿ. ದ ಇನ್ನರ್ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಲೈನಿಂಗ್ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಎಂಡೋಥೀಲಿಯಂ ಆಸ್ ದ ಡೆಪಾಸಿಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಗ್ಲೈಕೋಕ್ಯಾಲಿಕ್ಸ್ ವಿಚ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಎಂಡೋಥೀಲಿಯಲ್ ಗ್ಲೈಕೋಕ್ಯಾಲಿಕ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಈ ಎಂಡೋಥೀಲಿಯಲ್ ಗ್ಲೈಕೋಕ್ಯಾಲಿಕ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೇನ್ ಡೆಪಾಸಿಟೆಡ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ಲಿ proteoglycans. Okay, proteoglycans irutte. Apart from this, again glycolipids and some sugars will be present, athwa polysaccharides will be present. Okay, so composition is as good as same only, but only thing is idu bacteria dalli horagade ಒಂದು to form the biofilms ಅಥವಾ to evade the host mechanism ಗೆ help ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. I mean it either helps to evade the host mechanism or to form the biofilms, normally the glycocalyx, whereas the endothelial glycocalyx which is present, it guards the lining of the blood vessels, inner lining of the blood vessels. Okay, clear? And that is the endothelial glycocalyx. So this completes the variation in the prokaryotes as compared to the eukaryotes. You know it now.